you know, as long as you're burning seasoned wood or charcoal briquettes, the size of the container isn't more than 24 inches in any dimension. There's a screen on top with holes no bigger than ½ an inch. You know, a safe distance away from anything that burns, and you're pretty much good to go. So it's very specific. You get two choices: seasoned firewood, so that means it's older than a year old, and charcoal briquettes. Everything else is prohibited. So no construction lumber, you know, no vegetation, you know, no garden refuse. That's, you know, take that to the compost. But for burning, it's prohibited. It's not allowed. Yeah, you can make your own. You know, we've seen some really good adaptations of fire pits that people have made, of course, out of non-combustible materials like concrete, brick, rock. You know, some very nice looking fire pits. Yeah, the same rules apply to those. I mean, you're allowed to use those. They're very small containers. They're not very big. They don't hold a lot of wood or charcoal. They are on civic property. We just ask people use them responsibly. We do recognize that it's a campground. And open air fires are a factor with campgrounds. And the campground that we have in the city of Saskatoon, it's fairly well removed. I would think that we would, of course, if we get called, we would go and investigate. And if we found that the fire was, you know, it was excessive, or it was getting out of hand or creating a hazard, we would certainly deal with it accordingly. Well, when it comes to the boundaries of the city of Saskatoon, the bylaw applies to those boundaries. We do not allow for the disposal of materials through burning, with the exception of licensed incinerators. So when it comes to the requirements of the bylaw, they apply to everybody. I think it's important to recognize that there are alternatives to which there are no restrictions. So if you have a propane or a natural gas fire pit or a fire table or a heater, those do not apply, the regulations do not apply to those types of appliances, and you can use them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You know, we do want people to be respectful to their neighbors, you know, be considerate, you know, have that open dialogue with your neighbor, let them know, you know, if you're going to have a fire that evening, you know, just let them know, and, you know, like I say, be cognizant of, you know, of how long you're burning and when you're burning. Keep that dialogue going with your neighbor.